Turning the EDZ into hand cannons was a lot of fun, but there just weren't enough assets to make use of, and most of them just weren't clean enough or futuristic enough to make convincing Destiny guns out of. Wait, I've always loved the look of this place. It's so clean and futuristic. You know what sounds like fun? Photoshopping Bray Exoscience into a bunch of guns. It didn't take much looking around in here to realize that my options this time weren't so limited. Why should I just make hand cannons? I could make really any weapon type I wanted. So I did. I made them all. Well, the real ones. I didn't make a sword or bow because they both fall under the category I call literally just a strip of metal. Those probably wouldn't be all that interesting, honestly. I'll be showing you the 15 guns I crafted only out of screenshots I took from Bray Exoscience. So by the time I started working on this video, I had just stayed up all night finishing the last one. So I still hadn't gotten any sleep for close to 24 hours when I decided to start photoshopping together the hand cannon. I figured this would be a good start since I had just gotten so much practice in the last video. I also thought that being sleep deprived might help me to think outside the box with my design. I finished the hand cannon, and needless to say, I'm glad I didn't make any more guns until after I got some sleep. When I came to my computer the next day, I found this. I was probably thinking a bit too far outside the box. Why does it shoot glacial starwort? Why is this thing powering the trigger guard? Hey look, it might not be the best weapon, but you will never accidentally press the trigger. Luckily, after getting some sleep, the rest didn't end up looking like they were made by MC Escher. They look a bit more like this. This is the auto rifle. It's a bit fragmented looking, but overall, you can look at it and tell it's an auto rifle. I started to incorporate this glowy line on a lot of my designs after this one, because it really helps to bring out... Okay, it looks cool, that's why, it just looks cool. I ended up sticking to a few different color schemes and design themes. One was in line with this auto rifle, a dark bluish metal with some light blue lasers and lights. The next was based off this sidearm. It looks pretty decent. I do wish the handle blended together with the rest of the gun a little better, but this color scheme is pretty obviously from Bray Exoscience. The next theme I went with is represented by this heavy grenade launcher, all white with some blue lights. I thought this one turned out especially good looking. The handle is a bit discolored, but overall pretty nice. The last theme I went with is the one inspired by this shotgun. It's pretty similar to the last one I used on the grenade launcher, but it doesn't have the blue lights, and the metal has a bit of a green tint to it. This shotgun is pretty cool. Again, not as coherent as the grenade launcher, but still decent I think. Going back to the way the auto rifle was designed, I made the machine gun look pretty similar. I think this one turned out even better though. I like the Rasmussen clan insignia on the drum, but the drum is a little stretched. I also made a fusion rifle in this style, but it turned out a little janky looking. Maybe it's because I never use fusion rifles. I don't know. Here's the pulse rifle. I like that it really looks like it was found on the ground somewhere here. I used the same asset for the main body portion as I did for the slide on the sidearm. Overall, pretty solid. Pulse rifles are cool, but I personally like scout rifles a little more. And this is the scout rifle that I made. It falls in line with the design of the shotgun, but the colors make it look completely different. Again, it could be more coherent, but it doesn't take long looking at it to be able to tell it's made out of a bunch of screenshots. I do like the orange eyeball on the side. It fits with the theme of a precision weapon. I almost forgot to make a rocket launcher, but here it is. I kinda rushed it and ended up looking a little janky. Overall, it's not terrible, but it could certainly use some work. I think this sniper rifle here turned out pretty cool though. It's got the same look as the shotgun, with green metal and minimal lights. The SMG is the last of the guns that most strongly resemble the Bray Exoscience interior. It's pretty choppy looking though. I think it's mostly due to the fact that the whites don't match and there are too many perfectly flat sides, and also it doesn't have a trigger. Whoops. Getting down to the last three weapons, we have the breech grenade launcher. It looks very similar to the heavy grenade launcher. This wasn't because I just ripped a bunch of stuff off of the heavy one because I was too lazy to redesign the gun from the ground up, but rather because it was that. Next we have the linear fusion rifle. It turned out much better than I thought it would. I almost considered not even making one since there wasn't much good reference to use, but I think it looks pretty neat. And lastly, the trace rifle. This clearly resembles Cold Heart, which is probably because I used Cold Heart as a reference image. The color is a bit wonky in places, and some parts are a bit stretched out of the ratio, but nonetheless, it's pretty good. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool. That's a gun? That's a gun. But who's a gun? I haven't turned anybody into a hand cannon yet. I could use a Europa-themed NPC, but I don't think any of them really deserve it. Who's the most irrelevant, shoehorned in, useless, flat, uncharismatic, soulless character in the game? This guy. Yeah, you don't remember his name either, do you? It's Shaw Han. What a great name. They bring back the Cosmodrome, the most memorable area in Destiny 1 for many players. And who's the world vendor? Generic Hunter Guy A. And the fact that he has anything to do with the Gjallarhorn quest just spits on the legacy of Destiny's most iconic weapon. This guy looks like a random tower NPC. You know what? Now he's gonna look like a hand cannon. I bring you the Shaw Hand Cannon. Okay, that's enough of that. Hope this video was enjoyable. If not, let me know why. I want to try more videos like this, just screwing around in Photoshop with screenshots and making them into something cool, or really anything fun in patrol areas. I think there's a lot to do in these places that people just don't see sometimes. Anyways, I'll see you later. Thanks. Take care.